Now on the offensive side for Delaware, the tight end will be Chuck Blessing. The left tackle, Chris Kumpan. Left guard, Lynn Pine. At center, Keith Bullets. The right guard and co-captain, Shannon Trossel from Gettysburg, PA. The right tackle is Steve Archibald. Spread end, Courtney Batts, and we'll see a lot also at that position from Eddie Conti. The halfbacks, Pat Williams and Norm Coleman. Fullback is Kai Hebron, and the quarterback is Leo Hamlet. They're the starters for both teams.
Delaware will receive to start this football game. They will be off to our left, moving left to right, and one would think that this McNeese defense, which statistically, numerically is the best in the country, is delighted to start this football game on defense to try to shut down the Delaware wing T offense. Only one other time have these two teams met. That was back in 1974. Delaware won the game 29-24. And from what we gather around here, McNeese has been looking for a rematch ever since then. They're getting it tonight as they will defend their #1 seed and #1 ranking against the University of Delaware. Kicking off for the McNeese Cowboys is Jose Larios, who as a sophomore 2 years ago was an All-American. He is all-conference, all-Southland Conference. This crowd is on its feet for the start of this football game. Deep for Delaware, it'll be Eddie Conti and also Pat Williams back inside the Delaware 5-yard line. Delaware in their white uniforms with gold pants, blue trim, and the reverse practically for the McNeese Cowboys as they are in blue jerseys, gold helmets, gold pants, and the gold numbers. They are 12-0 on the year, the Southland Conference champs. Southern Conference officials working this game. That is the conference of the Marshall Thundering Herd, who won this afternoon. They will play the winner of this game. And we're about to get underway in this quarterfinal game of the 1AA playoffs. Kickoff by Larios coming down. Going to come down to Williams at the 8-yard line. 15-20 is drilled at the 21-yard line. And that's where Delaware will take over. Great kickoff coverage by the McNeese Cowboys. A 15-yard return, 13-yard return, correction now to the 21-yard line.
They were down there in the blink of an eye, and they look like they can be really hard hitters.
And what Delaware's got to watch out for defensively are the ends. One of those, Pittman, with 14.5 sacks on the year. First down play, handoff goes to Williams. He's going to go outside. He's tackled for a loss. Back at the 18-yard line, as he couldn't get to the outside on that play. And coming up to make the tackle is J.C. Bilbo, a senior cornerback.
They not only look strong and hard hitters, but fast as well, Don. Looks like they've got the whole package.
They do have speed. Speed comparable to Delaware. Second down and 13. The ball at the Delaware 18. Wide left is Batts. Here's a handoff to Marvell Scott up the middle. The fullback takes it out to the 23 or 24-yard line. Again, Bilbo on the tackle, and they're going with a bigger fullback in there right now. Marvell Scott out of Wheaton, Illinois, has not played a great deal last several weeks because of an injury, but they're looking for a little more power up the middle.
McNeese plays a scheme which has 5 defensive backs. Delaware's blocking is going to be very important in this ball game.
3rd and 8, Delaware at the 23-yard line. Hamlet hands it up again. This goes to Scott. He's got running room. He's got maybe the first down at the 31-yard line as he broke tackles on that play, and Marvell Scott, I believe, has the first down.
He got nice blocks off the left side there, particularly from Chris Kumpan. Look at this. There goes Scott. Gaping hole through there, and some hard running from the transfer from Wheaton, Illinois, as he gets very close to that first down.
Linebacker Carl Quiller in on the tackle. They'll bring the chains out to measure. Just underway in this 1AA quarterfinal football game, playoff game here at Lake Charles, Louisiana. They're stretching the chains out, and it is a first down by about the nose of the football. So the Blue Hens get a first down on their first opportunity out to the 31-yard line, and that's a good sight, Bill, because they know that this is the best defense in the country, giving up only 8.5 points a game.
They don't see the wing T. That is McNeese State. Delaware's going to run that till it doesn't work.
Ball at the 31, 1st and 10. Hamlet brings them out. still working on a tender ankle. Here's the handoff up the middle. It goes to Hebron, the senior fullback, at about 180 pounds or so, and he gets maybe 2 out to the 33-yard line.
The belly play, that didn't get too much, but you got to try everything here at the outset. Test this McNeese team, see what will work.
A little more than a yard is all they'll give him, just beyond the 32. Wide out to the right is Eddie Conti. Your standard wing tee set. There is the rollout left. He's got trouble, gets rid of the football. He's got his man out there. Hebron out to the 40, to the 41-yard line. He finds his fullback, as coming wide on that play defensively was Michael Urbanek, but they picked him off. He had time to throw the football, and he'll be in first down territory. He's got it. A good block by Shannon Trossel protected Hamlet, and then the running after the catch by Hebron gets it out to the 41, and that's a first down, 9-yard pickup.
Mini drive going here for the Blue Hens, air and ground attack.
And this is good because they know they have to establish something early against this team. Here's the first down play. Hamlet rolls out left, gets rid of the ball, just throws it away, as he had all kinds of trouble back there, including Kavika Pittman, the guy that has 14.5 sacks. Marcus Daniels also in there, getting Hamlet out of the pocket.
Hamlet really retreated after he released that ball. He had that gimpy ankle during the week, and he may not be, despite all claims, 100% better, Don.
Tubby said 99% last night, and he does look like, though, he is a little gimpy on it, and he probably doesn't have the mobility he normally has. 2nd and 10. Hamlet runs the option, still with the ball, gets maybe a yard to the 42-yard line, and that's it. And a lot of blue shirts on top of them, including Kavika Pittman, and also in on that tackle, Carl Quiller, the left linebacker. This 4-2-5 defense that McNeese runs, similar to what Navy ran. They used the 5 umbrella secondary and gave Delaware all kinds of fits.
Well, we haven't seen misdirection yet. Let's see if Delaware can come up with it on this 3rd and long.
3rd down 9 at the 42-yard line. Hamlet drops straight back to throw. Looks, got time, pump fakes, nobody open. Now he gets rid of the ball, throws it away. Almost intercepted, but out of bounds is Zach Bronson, their free safety, all-conference performer, and Delaware will punt.
Looked like there might have been a little confusion there. There was wide open field on the right side. Hamlet never looked that way at all. Pumps once. He keeps looking for somebody. Here's Coleman, wide open on the right side, but he had to get rid of the ball.
All right, back to kick is Scott White. He's standing at his own 29-yard line, and deep to receive is Bronson. White was kicking pretty well. Here is the snap, rushes on, he gets rid of the ball. It's low. It's going to bounce at the 28, keep bouncing. Bronson takes it right at the 16-yard line. He's snowed under at the 21. So that's where McNeese will take over with 11:42 to play in this first quarter. We'll get a look at the McNeese offense, run by Kerry Joseph, the Southland Conference Player of the Year. They have a 1,000-yard rusher in Henry Fields, all-conference performer, and they come right out, much as Hofstra did last week. Sands Huddle. They'll start it off right here at the 22-yard line. 1st and 10, McNeese. Joseph. See if he's in shotgun formation, and he's going to go with 4 receivers. Going to put pressure on the defensive secondary. He's going to run the football, the option, pitches it to Fields. He's got a seam, still on his feet, knocked out of bounds finally by McSeed on the far sideline beyond the 35, maybe the 36-yard line. Little option play to the short side of the field, and he found a hole in the Delaware defense.
Yeah, that's one of Delaware's favorite tactics, going to the short side. They have those wide receivers out to the open side, stretching out horizontally Delaware's defense, which was lined up 3 deep.
14-yard gain to the 36-yard line of McNeese. 1st and 10. Wide left is Morris along with Davis. And to the right is Joseph. Snap on the shotgun, back to throw, pump fake, gets rid of the ball. It's down there. There's Davis, and it is knocked away by Kenny Bailey at the 10-yard line, and great defense by the Delaware strong safety.
Boy, I'll tell you, Delaware did a heck of a job on that play. They disguise their zone beautifully. They look man, they look zone, and then they do everything else. But Kenny Bailey's the guy who comes up with the big play. This guy can throw the ball long. Kenny's right there in front of it, knocks it out.
That was a great defensive play by a young man who only made second team all conference and should have been first team. He really aired it out after he threw the ball. Berge drilled him. He had a shoulder injury a few weeks back. We'll see how much he can hold up if he takes a lot of pounding this evening. 2nd and 10 at the 36. Delaware looking blitz. Here comes Gardner. Handoff up the middle. He's got some room. Fields across the 40 down to about the 42-yard line. A nice second down run by Henry Fields. Ball at the 42. That's a pickup of 6 yards. It'll be 3rd down and 4.
He ran for 1,045 yards this season alone, 4,197 in his career, and he is the big guy on this backfield for running the ball.
Morris and Davis left, Joseph to the right. They have a big tight end who they have not shown yet in this game. Here's the quarterback draw, and it's run by Joseph, still on his feet. He's pulled down, but he's got a first down. Berge pulled him down from behind. Berge stretched back, makes the tackle, but I believe Kerry Joseph got the first. And he did. It's just beyond the 46-yard line. First down, McNeese.
Berge starting in place of Mastrangelo, who had an injury last week, came out in the first quarter, but we're assured he will play today.
The other receiver in there, a guy that doesn't get much, is Chris Fontenot. And he's in a slot left. Wide out to the left is Morris, Davis, and Joseph to the right. Terrence Davis, first team all conference. High snap. Going to be run by Joseph. He slices through to get a yard. He hurdles some of the players and finally knocked down by John Shields out of the 47-yard line. A gain of just 1. I don't know that Delaware was expecting this shotgun formation. They have not gone with the fullback, Rusty Strupek, nor have they gone with the tight end, Michael Warren, who is 6'3", 270. Looking to spread out the Delaware defense. 2nd down 9. Snap back in the shotgun. Joseph rolls out to his left. Has plenty of time. Double fakes. Now he's being pursued. And he is spun around by McNeese. Still on his feet. Knocked out by D'Angelo in Delaware territory at about the 48 or 49-yard line.
Boy, you absolutely have to give these guys a good, hard shoulder driving tackle. Arm tackling won't do it even against the quarterback. He runs for a lot of yardage himself.
He's gained over 400 running. He's not the runner that Hamlet is, but he can do it, and he does a lot of it on sacks or scrambles, I should say, like that. And he got some good yardage. Finally, D'Angelo knocks him out of bounds, really drilled him. But it's now 3rd down and about 5 at the Delaware 49. First excursion into Delaware territory. We have 9:23 to play in the first quarter. Joseph goes back to throw. He's looking left, now over the middle, drills the ball. It is knocked away by Bailey again. Intended over the middle for William Davis at the 25-yard line, and great defense by Delaware's strong safety Kenny Bailey out of Harrington, Delaware.
Boy, Delaware's secondary's got a lot to look at. These guys run all kinds of patterns underneath and long at the same time, and Kenny Bailey makes another big play.
And back to punt is Brian Stewart, a sophomore. Conti at the 15 to receive the punt for the Blue Hens. Brian Stewart averaged over 38 yards per punt this year. Here's the snap. No rush. The kick is away. It's a beautiful punt. High punt. It's going to go over Conti's head and into the end zone. So it'll come out to the 20. There's a timeout on the field with 9:08 to play in the first quarter. The PNC Bank timeout score: Delaware nothing, McNeese nothing. And Delaware will take over from the 20-yard line. So the Blue Hens getting a second shot at it. They got a couple of first downs on their first possession and had to punt the ball away, as did McNeese. So, Bill, both teams sparring a little bit, seeing what's happening out there, although McNeese came wide open to start the game.
Well, they sure did. They have all kinds of weapons, and of course they're going to use them as often as they can. Delaware's defense so far has stood up to the test early on here in this first quarter. After the exchange of punts, Delaware loses a yard. They started their first drive at the 21.
First and 10, Delaware at the 20, bats wide right. And now what? Whistle. They come back. I'm not sure what the call is here or why the holdup. Now they let him go back up to the line of scrimmage. Marshall won today. We'll give you a full update on those scores in a little bit. Here is a counter play. It goes to Norm Coleman. Out to the 25, 30, 35. Still on his feet to the 45, 40. He's down into McNeese territory. Thrown out of bounds at the 29-yard line. That's a 51-yard run by Norm Coleman down to the McNeese 21, and the first misdirection they saw, Bill, they couldn't handle it.
Absolutely, and look at this. You watch him, Coleman, pick his way through there. He's got Kumpon in front. Now here comes Trossel down in front of him, catching up, throwing just enough of a block to spring him for more yardage. That was a wonderfully executed misdirection play.
Another block was thrown by Lynn Pine in there, but you're right. It was a nice block by Trossel on Zach Bronson, gave him more. First and 10, handoff up the middle. It goes to Hebron down to the 25-yard line, and that's a pickup of 4 on the play. It'll be 2nd and 6 right at the 25.
It's like these guys said in print, you can't tell where the ball's going. You look for one guy and another guy's got it. You never know where the ball is when the misdirection is run properly.
And that's what happened 3 years ago to Northeast Louisiana. They were ranked #1, and Delaware came down and beat them 41-18. They couldn't handle that misdirection that Delaware's wing teeth shows you. 2nd down and 6 at the 25. Hamlin hands off on the sweep to Pat Williams. He tried to cut. He slipped at the 26 and goes down at the line of scrimmage at the 25. The footing a little loose down there. Of course, late in the season, you're going to get that kind of thing.
Don't know what could have happened there. He had lots of blocking in front of him going downfield around the 10-yard line, but the slip just obviates everything.
Well, we heard that, and we know that the humidity in this part of the country very high. It was high today, and we've heard that the field gets a little dewy at this time of the evening and a little bit wet. So sometimes now Delaware's going to have to call a timeout. A little bit of confusion down there. So they have to call a timeout. There is a timeout on the field. 7:46 to play in the first quarter with the score. Delaware nothing and McNeese nothing. Lake Charles, Louisiana, no score. Delaware and McNeese State. Let's check the Metro Auto Parts College football scoreboard update. Stephen F. Austin beat Appalachian State today 27-17. Marshall over Northern Iowa 41-24. And Montana 45. Georgia Southern nothing. And the other 1AA playoff games. We'll give you some other scores in just a moment. It's 3rd down and about 6 from the 25-yard line. Hamlet barking out the signals with a crowd roaring. Back to throw, pump fakes. Now throws it out there for his man. Conde overthrows him, and Zach Bronson intercepts the ball in the end zone. Conde had fallen down on the play, got back up, but he wasn't anywhere out there near that pass. So the interception by Bronson turns the ball over and negates a nice drive. Leo should not have thrown this ball when he saw his man had fallen and way over the head, and Bronson made a nice catch. He had 3 interceptions on the regular season.
And here came Leo running downfield to argue with an official. He apparently thought there was some interference, but it didn't look like it at all.
Eddie Conte apparently felt the same way, but the officials did not go for it, and it's 1st down McNeese at the 20-yard line. A couple of other scores. Texas beat Texas A&M today 16-6, and Army over Navy 14-13. 1st and 10. First time that Kerry Joseph has been over center. Here's the pitch on the sweep. It goes to Fields. He's still running hard out across the 25 to the 29-yard line. And what a hard runner Henry Fields is. He is 6'2", 205. He's got the all-time McNeese and Louisiana College rushing record with over 4,100 yards.
They not only rush the ball well, but they defend against the rush. They give up 61.8 yards per game by the rush. Delaware's got pretty close to that already. We got 65 according to Robin Bryson, so that exceeds the per game average that McNeese gives up by rush.
On that run, Fields just ran right over linebacker Larry McSeed to get the extra 5 yards. Here's the 2nd down and 1 play at the 29. And the handoff again to Fields. He's got a 1st down across the 30 to the 33, and that's where Ralph D'Angelo wraps him up. So they've been effective running the football, but they've really spread it out so much with that 4 wideout look in the first series, and now they've come to another look with Joseph over center rather than in the shotgun formation.
Well, going back to that pass that was intercepted, thrown by Leo Hamlet, that could come back to haunt them. You were right. That pass would never have been thrown. Delaware's down in the red zone practically, and they could have done better with a rush.
Ball at the 33-yard line, 1st and 10, McNeese. Couple of wideouts to the left. Here's the sweep. It goes again to Fields. He got a nice block to the outside, 35-40. Run out of bounds at the 43-yard line. And they're going to spot it now at the 44, and that will be another McNeese first down. As this Delaware defense, hard to run against as well. But so far, Henry Fields has been knifing through it. Delaware gives up an average of 116 yards a game rushing, and a couple of games really blew that out of proportion, including the Navy game. 1st and 10, McNeese at their own 44. Wideouts to the right, Terrence Davis and Damian Morris. Damian Joseph is wide left. And a fumble on the snap, and it looks like Josh Mastrangelo has fallen on the football, and Delaware's got the ball.
Wow.
At the McNeese 43, a muff on the snap, and Mastrangelo, who did not start the game, in there falling on the football.
Big break for Delaware here at the start.
Nice crowd of Delaware fans there. There was we saw the muff again, and the fall on it by Josh Mastrangelo, and Delaware with an opportunity with 6:23 to play in the first quarter. Wide out to the left is Courtney Batts. The fullback Hebron. On the wing right is Coleman. Roll out left. Hamlet throws down the field. He is over the head of his man. That is Norm Coleman, and he overthrew him by a good 5 yards or so.
Well, we heard Tubby Raymond say at the outset of the program that big plays were going to be a factor in Delaware's offense tonight. Looks like they want to create something here early.
Coverage down there, Zach Bronson. They do play 5 defensive backs, as Navy did, and that means it should be tougher to throw the football. Their defensive line is so good against the run. They lost an All-American linebacker 5 games into the season, but it hasn't hurt them any. 2nd and 10. Hamlet, options, going to run it. Nice fake, pitches it to Williams. Short side of the field. He's run out of bounds inside the 40 at the 38-37-yard line. Nice pickup of about 5 yards, 6 yards perhaps on that play, down to the 37. Now again, the Hamlet hasn't run the option much on this first quarter, but on that one he waited till the last second. Looked like he could have had some yardage himself, but he may not want to keep the ball all that much this evening because of that ankle. Third down and 4. The ball at the McNeese 37. Hamlet goes back to throw. Quick look, pump fakes, gets rid of the ball. There's his man out there. It is complete inside the 20 to Courtney Batts at the 24-yard line, and that'll be a first down for the Blue Hens.
If you want to get somebody in a seam of a zone or to work man on man, it's got to be Courtney Batts. Batts goes out there and makes a perfect stance on a turnaround, and he was right there where Hamlet hit him. Hamlet waited a little while because it was obviously going to be Batts as his primary receiver.
Ball at the 24-yard line of McNeese, 1st and 10. Delaware making another threaded scoring here. Wide outs, the loose formation. Batts and Conti wide right. Hamlet over center. Man is in motion. Here he goes back to throw again. Looks, gets rid of the football. There's Batts over his head. He tickled it with his fingers, but that's about it. And it falls incomplete.
Hamlet's been getting marvelous protection in this series in the pocket, and he had lots of time that time to get rid of the ball.
We are told that back in Newark, the Delaware basketball team trails St. Joe by 1 point at the half. I didn't get a score on it, but they're down 1 at halftime. 5:42 left. Hamlet is 2 for 7, and he tends to be overthrowing his receivers. Here is the sweep on the half, and it's Williams. He's tripped up maybe about the 22-yard line. That's a gain of a couple down to the 22, maybe a yard and a half or so is all. 32-31 we're told the score. Delaware down to St. Joe. It's St. Joe's season opener. Williams on the carry on the little sweep to the right. They're going to call it just a yard gain down to the 23, and it's 3rd down and 9. Another big play for the Hens. 2 wideouts left. Hamlet, quick look in. He throws it too far for Pat Williams at the 20-yard line. It was that quick hitting pass, and that one had a lot of yards for it if he had made that completion.
Really did. A timing pass there, and Williams just goes straight down 5 yards. Hamlet takes the snap, just wheels to his left and throws the ball to the spot, but the spot wasn't quite where he wanted it to be.
So Sean Leach on from the 30-yard line. It'll be a 40-yard field goal. He has kicked the 50-yarder this year, just about in the middle of the field. Into a wind, however. DiMartino to hold. Here's the snap. The kick is up, and the kick is good. All right. Delaware on the board first. There's a timeout on the field with 4:54 to play in the first quarter. The PNC Bank timeout score: Delaware 3, McNeese nothing. William Davis and Donnie Ashley. Davis and Ashley, the deep receivers, as Delaware gets on the board 3-0.
Opportunistic again, just as they were against Hofstra when they converted 3 turnovers into scores. Delaware here has Mastrangelo recover a fumble at the 44, and then they take it down for the 40-yard field goal, and a good series by the Blue Hens.
Sean Leach will kick off. 4:54 remaining first quarter, and the Blue Hens have drawn blood first. And I say that here where the Mosquitoes are huge, because they draw blood too. But Delaware did it, and they're on the board 3-0. Here's the kickoff by Sean Leach. It's end over end. It'll come down to Davis at the 7-yard line. He's out to the 20, still on his feet, and still on his feet, gets loose. He's out to the 40, 45. He's going to run this one all the way unless Kenny Bailey catches him. He does not, and he's running it back for a long, long touchdown of about 93 yards. 93-yard run back by William Davis as the Delaware special teams break down.
And he broke through. This was a power run by William Davis. He went through Delaware as if they were sieves. Several guys missing arm tackles. Kenny Bailey, who had the last shot at him, was plastered with a blocker down there, not even leaving his feet. And what you heard in the background was an artillery piece. I think it was one of those big Berthas the Germans used in World War I. Look at this run. Bang! He had Kenny Bailey there.
Bailey missed the tackle. Paul Williams missed the tackle. Then it's a matter of getting past Leach. And then Bailey had a shot maybe, but then got picked off on a block that wasn't very kind to him. All right, the extra point attempt by Jose Larios coming up in a moment. Jose Larios to kick the extra point as McNeese has turned a 3-0 deficit into a 6-3 lead in just 14 seconds, the time it took to run back the kickoff. Larios, a senior out of Texas. Here's the snap, and the kick is up, and it's good. So there's a timeout on the field with 4:40 to play in the first quarter with the score. McNeese 7 and Delaware 3. Delaware now trailing 7-3 to the McNeese State University Cowboys, the #1 team in the country. Don Bolts, Bill Pfeiffer, and Robin Bryson along with us, keeping stats and all that other good stuff. Delaware trying to advance to the semifinals for the first time since 1992, when they did that against Marshall and lost to Marshall. This McNeese team has been in the quarterfinals now for 4 straight years. They've lost the previous 3.
Got a penalty here, unsportsmanlike against McNeese. They'll have to kick off at their own 20-yard line.
That would be the celebration call that usually comes after a spectacular play like that, and it's almost automatic anymore. So Larios will kick 15 yards farther downfield, and that means Delaware will set up its return men around the 20.
That was a shocking return, and Delaware's got to respond here quickly and get over that sort of a trauma when you have somebody run back a kickoff like that.
It does throw a little cold water in your face, I believe.
Yeah.
Here's Larios' kickoff. And it's a decent one. It's going to come down at the 19 to Williams, out to the 25, to the 30, to the 35, and out to the 38-yard line. And that's where he is knocked down. And Delaware will have good field position to start this drive. They've got a 20-yard return by Pat Williams. The winner will play Marshall. If McNeese wins, they'll play here. If Delaware wins, Delaware would go to Huntington, West Virginia. Blue Hens will start it at the 38. They moved the football, and they've had some chances, but all they've gotten so far was a 3. Bats wide left. Here's the counter play again. It goes to Williams across the 40, and he's brought down at the 44-yard line. Making the tackle at the 44 is Quiller, the linebacker.
These Delaware ball carriers are really going to have to protect the ball, because when these guys from McNeese hit, they're also scrambling to reach in there and try to knock the ball away.
That's what Quiller looked like he was trying to do on that play. And Williams hung on to it. 2nd down and 4 at the 44-yard line. Leo over center, calls the signals, hands off. Hebron blasts through there out to the 48-yard line, and he hits a stone wall. And the name of Chad Reeves, their leading tackler on the season. Just a little shy of the 48, and I think they'll bring in the chains to measure this one, although they're eyeballing it right now. They are going to bring the chains in to see if they've made it or not, and the ball is just shy of the 48, and it looks like they have to go at least to the 48, maybe just to the other side of it. So it's probably going to come up just shy and give Delaware a 3rd and very short. And it's short by a little more than the length of the football. They do have to go to the other side of the 48-yard line for the first down. 3:50 to play in the quarter. Delaware trying to rebound from a 93-yard kickoff return for a touchdown by William Davis, who, by the way, is a freshman. 3rd down and short for the Hens. Very tight formation, double tight ends. Blessing to the right, Brady to the left. See if Hamlet keeps it. No, he'll hand off. And Hebron dives out to the 49-yard line and gets the first down for the Hens. Reeves makes the tackle. They had an All-American linebacker coming back by the name of Landrum, who went down in the 5th game of the year against Central Florida with a broken collarbone, I believe it was. And but their defense doesn't seem to have missed him any. Just shy of the 50. 1st and 10. And Hamlet will drop back to throw on 1st down. Good blocking, good protection. Now he's going to run, and there's a penalty marker thrown as he loses a yard on the scramble as the defense closed up quickly, and one would think it's a hold, and it is. First penalty of the game against Delaware. He had good blocking, and then they stepped it up in there, and how about the quickness of McNeese to get off of the ball on that one, making the tackle. Jason Soviak, he was in there on it, as was Pittman.
That 5-man scheme in the secondary is doing a great job on coverage of Delaware's wings and halfbacks when they're out there. Now this penalty marked off here against Delaware.
Marked off from the spot of the hold, which was the 45, and it goes back to the 35-yard line, and that becomes a 14-yard penalty. So it is now 1st down and 24. The ball at the Delaware 35-yard line. Batts and Conti spread wide left. Hamlet leads them out. Back to throw on 1st down. Has time, gets rid of the football. It is tipped but caught by Delaware, by Eddie Conti out at the 47-yard line. And so they get some yardage out of it. Eddie Conti with good reaction off of that tip.
Yes, he did have great reaction. The little road runner, Eddie Conti, who has great speed and also great reaction. That ball tipped away. It could have gone incomplete, but Eddie makes a quick turn back to get it.
Actually shy of the 48-yard line. Just shy of the 48. It'll be 2nd down and 12 for the Blue Hens. And here's Hamlet back to throw, rolling right, looking downfield, gets rid of the football. It's complete to Batts. Batts loses the football. Fallen on by McNeese at the 44-yard line. As Batts loses the football on the hit, and the Cowboys fall on it They'll spot it shy of the 44. And the Cowboys take over with 2:32 to go, first period.
Batch comes off the field. He had his bell rung, but he's tapping himself in the pad saying that was my fault. I never should have dropped that ball when I had it.
Now he had it turned up like he might get something out of it, but he didn't get anything out of it. Loses the football, and it's going to be just shy of the 44-yard line of McNeese. They come out with no huddle again. Now they have a new man in there at fullback, Durain Dunmiles, and he goes in the slot left. Here is the option. Back to throw now by Fields. He throws the ball down the field, or Joseph rather, and overthrows his man. Kerry Joseph intending that for Davis, who ran the ball back for the touchdown, and step for step with him was Paul Williams. Well, that was a fake option. How about that?
Yeah, this guy's got great blocking back there. All kinds of people trying to get at him, but he just takes his time, waits for his blockers to give them protection, and then unleash the pass that went about 60 yards.
Not only that, but this is a wide open creative offense that they are showing Delaware. They are pulling out all the stops. 2nd and 10 at the 44-yard line. Now he's going to run the option down the line, makes the pitch to the short side to Fields. Nothing much there, maybe a yard out to the 45. He had very little room, and Delaware really closed it down to the short side.
Yeah, they had seen that short side play early, very early in the quarter, and they were prepared for it that time.
So it'll be 3rd down and 9. The ball at the McNeese 45-yard line. Delaware making some changes now in personnel with a passing situation. Kerry Joseph will stand in the shotgun now. Double wideouts to the right, Davis. And 2 Davises, William Davis and Terrence Davis. Back to throw. Joseph has all kinds of time. Now he rolls out. He's going to run. He's got some room. He skips to the outside. D'Angelo can't get him, and he's got a first down. Down inside the 45 of Delaware. He got away from D'Angelo, finally shoved out of bounds just inside the 45-yard line. Berge in pursuit.
Boy, I'll tell you, Jamie Bell was trying to cornerback blitz on the play. It went away from him, and what a wall of blocking over there. Really sealed off. One of the guys who really couldn't get any action at all was Delaware on the left side, Berge, and also the linebacker that way. But what a wall of blocking by McNeese.
Ball is just inside the Delaware 45. 1st and 10. McNeese on the move. Morris and Davis to the left, and Joseph to the right. Here's the option, and he's going to be pulled down from behind by Handrew for no gain. Maybe back to the line of scrimmage, and that's about it, as Mark Handrew on that one decided that he was not going to get anything. Delaware has twice as many yards as McNeese, 132 to 66. However, that doesn't count a 93-yard kickoff return for a touchdown by William Davis. Damian Joseph wide left, Damian Morris to the right, and Terrence Davis to the right as well. And back to throw out of the shotgun again is Kerry Joseph. He gets rid of the ball. He's got a man out there. It is caught by Terrence Davis. He is tripped up, and he gets to the touchdown marker for a touchdown, McNeese. Tripped up by Bailey, but not soon enough. And that's a 45-yard touchdown throw. Joseph to Davis.
This guy has blazing speed, and he just outstepped Bailey down there at the pylon. You'll see this guy's speed as the ball is in the air, and he just gets a yard or 2 yards ahead of Bailey. Tripped there, but his momentum takes him in for the score.
And now the extra point by Jose Larios to give McNeese an 11-point lead. They're up 13-3. Low snap, but they recover, get the kick up, and the kick is good. So with 1:26 to play, McNeese now has a 14-3 lead, and the Blue Hens need to regroup right here, Bill.
Indeed they do. They've been shocked twice now by the big play that Tubby Raymond wants the Blue Hens to come up with. He's got to execute it, though, and he has to have Leo Hamlet throwing the ball better. That's how they figure the big play. That and misdirection. But right now, it's all the ball game in the backyard here of the McNeese Cowboys.
McNeese has speed to equal Delaware's. They have played 2 common opponents, Youngstown and James Madison, and both have beaten those teams. So not much to choose there. But right now on the field with a relatively long first quarter, 1:26 to play in the period, McNeese has jumped out to a 14-3 lead. And Larios will kick off. Deep for Delaware. It will be Pat Williams and Eddie Conti. Delaware needs to get in the end zone because you can't keep moving the ball down the field and getting breaks to do that and not capitalize. Larios, the kicker, he's a senior, all-conference, All-American 2 years ago. And this McNeese crowd of capacity, certainly more than 17,500 here because they're sitting in some of the end zone areas on the hill. Here's the kick by Larios. It's high, it's long. Conti's going to take it in the end zone, and he's not going to run it out. So the Hens will start on their own 20-yard line. A good decision probably by Eddie Conti.
And that guy Larios that kicked off is pretty good when it comes to field goals. He had 4 of them last week in McNeese's win over Idaho.
So Delaware will start on its own 20-yard line again. 1st and 10 against this outstanding McNeese defense that gives up just 8.5 points a game.
You hate to see Delaware try to play catch-up this early in the ball game.
Well, they certainly don't need to. It still is the first quarter, but what has to happen is the defense, it will be called upon to do an awful lot. Here's the first down play. Here's the counter. It goes to Coleman. He's going to have to run wide and not get anything. Maybe a yard out to the 21-yard line, and that's going to be it. As Pittman stayed at home, he did a great job on that defensively, as did Danny Rosteed out of Lake Charles, a local product. And there was blocking out there, but I'll tell you that Pittman just threw off his blocker, and he makes the tackle.
He looks like an NFL prospect to me.
Yeah, he's light at 245, but he's 6'5", meaning they could put another 20, 30 pounds on him with no problem. Here is the second down play, almost a full 10 to go. Back to throw Hamlet. He's got problems. He has brought down the ball loose, and let's see who's got it. And McNeese came out with it, but the officials say it's still Delaware's ball back at the 15, and Hamlet's still on the ground, and he's rolling over. See if he's okay. I'm not sure he is. He really. And he says, nope, that ankle, a problem. And Langen runs to get his helmet.
They gave him a pounding on that play. They had 5, 6 guys. That was a kind of a play that you just don't want to see your quarterback at the bottom of.
Now they're going to bring Keith Langen in as Leo walks off gingerly on that right ankle. And Keith handling, the head trainer, along with Joan Couch, his assistant, helping Leo off. And Keith Langen making an early entrance into this game with 28 seconds remaining in the first quarter of play.
I'll tell you what, this is the playoff quarterback jinx striking again. It happened at Marshall, Vergantino ill. It happened again when Fry had to have fractured clavicle. He had to come in when Langen was, boy, oh boy, it goes on and on.
Every year it seems like Delaware gets in the playoffs and they have a quarterback injury problem. 3rd down and 10. Back at the, actually 20 or 15, I guess. A little shovel pass goes nowhere. Inside, that's to Hebron. And that's a loss back to the 13, and now going to be a long punt. And we've come to the end of the first quarter, though. We have come to the end of the first quarter, and it's been McNeese. End of 1. McNeese 14 and Delaware 3. We start the second quarter at Cowboy Stadium in Lake Charles, Louisiana, with McNeese leading Delaware 14-3. Don Volz, Bill Piper, and our statistician and engineer Robin Bryson. And Delaware will punt to start the second period. Scott White back at his own goal line. Zach Bronson back to receive. The kick is wobbly. It's going to bounce into McNeese territory down to the 45 to the 44-yard line, and that's where Darrell Green will down it for the Blue Hens, and that's where McNeese takes over.
Well, the good news is there's Hamlet walking, not limping at all, right down here on the sideline. That looks good, but that pile in which he seemed to have been injured has to be classified as an omnium gatherum. Everybody in the stadium was on top of him, it looked like. That's what happened when the Lions were fighting the Christians.
Oh, I see. Okay. Glad you explained it. At the 44-yard line, 1st and 10 McNeese. Kerry Joseph over center. Fullback is in there right now. On the option play, though, Joseph pitches back to the Dunwiles, and he's knocked out of bounds at the 46-yard line. New guy in there, Durain Dunmiles. Check it, that's Brian Foster. Correction on the carry. Brian Foster, a tailback out of Newton, Texas, senior. And Strupek in there at fullback. We haven't seen much of Rusty Strupek, but he's a 5'11", 225-pound junior fullback. Fields getting a little bit of a break. He did a great job rushing the ball in the first quarter. 2nd down after a gain of a couple out at the 47. Back to throw now. He slips the ball off to Foster. Foster still on his feet at the 49-yard line. And D'Angelo finally grabs him by the ankles and brings him down.
They're doing some kind of blocking. That offensive line of McNeese, they're creating holes in there. And the backs, then when they get to the hole, have got the power and the moves to get through and into the secondary.
That left tackle there, Reggie Nelson, is a freshman at 6'3", 300. They've got 2 seniors, a sophomore, a junior, and a freshman along that offensive line. Their tight end is a senior, however. Here is the 3rd down play. 3rd down at about 5 shy of midfield. Joseph back in the shotgun. He's going to hand the ball off to Foster again. He slips a tackle, but not much. McSeed kind of knocked him down at the 50-yard line, and McNeese will have to punt the football. Now McSeed, the senior co-captain out of Philadelphia, got his arm around the waist and slowed up Foster enough. And the punt by Stewart. Sophomore.
Yeah, this is the 2nd punt of the ball game for McNeese.
And deep is Conti at his own 15-yard line. Here's a snap. Stewart, a good kicker. No rush. This one wobbly and low. Conti's going to take it right at the 20. Out to the 25-yard line. 30. He spun around and he's out. The ball loose. It's out of bounds. Or is it? It was fallen on by McNeese. Do they have the ball? They do. At the 32-yard line, 31-yard line. I thought maybe it had gone out of bounds. Conti got spun around and stripped. And McNeese in business again at the Delaware 31-yard line.
Well, remember what Tubby said just before kickoff? We've got to hold on to the football. That's 2 interceptions and a couple of fumbles. And Delaware, you just don't have to say it, but they have not held on to the football. Eddie looked like he had a little room here to run. He does.
He got spun around.
Yep, and then he just loses control of the ball as he's hit once, falls over another man, and the ball looks like we lost control of it right there, but it looked like it could have gone out of bounds.
Ball's at the 31, 1st and 10 McNeese. Joseph over center, hands it off to Fields, up the middle, 25, 20, 15, still on his feet down to the 12. Finally pulled down, and he has a load to bring down, and Delaware finding that out very quickly. They'll spot the ball at the 11-yard line. Now they'll move it back close to the 12 and will be at the 12-yard line. A 19-yard pickup on the play. And that was a big burst up the middle by Henry Fields. And McNeese threatening to blow this one open in the first half. Wide out to the right is Morris. And Joseph wide to the left. Here's a handoff. It's still on his feet as Foster down to the 6-yard line. Pickup on that play, about 6. Ryan Foster down to the 6-yard line. It'll be 2nd down. And they'll call that about 5, I guess.
Well, back in 1974, Delaware beat McNeese 29-24, and they scored 23 points in the 4th quarter to come from behind. Are we looking at something like that, or hopefully?
Well, hopefully they'll score to come from behind and win it, but hope they don't have to do that much. Here's a handoff up the middle. It's going to go for several yards down to about the 3-yard line. Carrying that is Durain Dunmiles, a junior out of Hanville, Louisiana. And nice little hole off left tackle. Closing it up quickly was Berge, but he's down to the 3, and it'll be 3rd down and a long yard for a 1st down. Joseph over center. Strupek and Foster in at running back. And off to Foster, off the tackle. He is drilled at the line of scrimmage. Kenny Bailey and Jeff Gardner coming in and making that hit. And he did not get a first down, didn't even come close to it. And they're going to bring on, I believe, the field goal unit. Larios comes in. The crowd doesn't like that at all. And the tackle, I'll tell you, that was a great hit by Kenny Bailey, who came up to make that tackle.
Yeah, this crowd, though, thinks that McNeese should score every time they have the ball. And they've been pretty much doing that.
Now the ball will be spotted at the 11-yard line. It'll be a 21-yard field goal attempt by Jose Larios. This may be a moral victory for Delaware defensively. Here's a snap. The kick is up, and the kick is good. So there's a timeout on the field. 10:49 to play in this first half with a score. McNeese 17 and Delaware 3. Delaware players on the sideline being talked to by their position coaches. They try to get things squared away now, trailing McNeese 17-3 with 10:49 to play in the first half.
It was almost 21 years to the day, Don, that Delaware was down here in Baton Rouge and plastered UNLV in a semifinal of the National Small College Championship. Then the next week they went out to Sacramento and really got blasted themselves by Central Michigan. But that game they played without 6 starters. Delaware had knocked off UNLV at the time. They were 12-0. And maybe, just maybe, some history may repeat itself here today in Louisiana.
Larios to kick off. Deep for Delaware, Conti and Williams. Capacity crowd at Cowboy Stadium. I'm Don Volz along with Bill Piper and our statistician and engineer Robin Bryson, bringing you all of the action. But the action so far has been in McNeese's favor as Delaware's coughed the ball up, giving McNeese some pretty good position a couple of different times. Larios to do the kicking. His team out on the field. And Delaware trying to get back into this game. Here's the kick. It's high. Going to come down to Williams at the 13. He's out to the 15, 20, 25, 30. Still on his feet to the 40. 50-yard line. He's run out of bounds at the McNeese 45-yard line. Delphine Lee out of New Orleans running him out of bounds after a 43-yard return. They will spot the ball at the McNeese 44-yard line. Got some nice blocking. Conti gets in there and he just outruns some folks, including William Davis, who ran back the kickoff 93 yards for McNeese for a touchdown. So Delaware with another good opportunity here. A lot of time left. We're only in the second quarter. Langen in a quarterback still with 10:40 to play, second period. Langen over center. He will run the option. He's not going anywhere. He has not had the quickness to get away from this defensive line as Pittman is in there to make the tackle along with Greg Bonvillen. Bonvillen out of Pearland, Texas. Pittman from Leesville, Louisiana. That is a loss of about 2 yards back to the 46.
Hamlet looks okay, standing down there on the sideline, arms crossed. He's ready to go in, it would appear, and you wonder why they're holding him out.
He still is got a little bit of a limp, and it may be just a little too tender. They want to see if Langen can move him at all, but this is a tough position to be in for Keith. He hasn't played much this year. Here's the counter play, and it's going nowhere at all. Coleman gets back nearly to the line of scrimmage, a yard or so short, as the penetration by McNeese just too good on that play. Again, Pittman in on that. He is just an exceptional football player.
Yeah, he circled around there, and there was no stopping this big guy that time. He made the hit behind the line of scrimmage. Delaware's got 3rd and long again.
3rd down 15 back at the McNeese 48-yard line. And a passing situation. He goes back to throw. He's got to run. Now he gets rid of the football to Batts at the 43-yard line, still on his feet inside the 40 to the 35-yard line. He'll be shy of the first, but Courtney Batts did a good job getting 7 more yards after receiving the football, and Langen, frankly, did a good job to get the ball off as he outran Pittman, got away from Pittman's pursuit, and a nice little juke on the play, and then he carries tacklers down to the 35. That's 13 yards. They're 2 yards shy of the first, but they're going to go for it here. 8:49 to play in the half.
Yeah, this could be a huge play in the future of this ball game.
All right, Langen talking to a couple of his linemen as they walk up to the line of scrimmage. 4th down. Here's the option. Langen's going to run. He cuts inside. He's got the first down to the 32-yard line as he got a nice block to take out Marcus LeBlanc, a sophomore cornerback.
Yep.
That was a great play by Delaware and a nice little cut up the field.
LeBlanc was playing for the pitch man, and instead Langen saw that and then cut inside.
And it's very hard for them to stop. Again, it looks like some of the players are slipping a little bit. The ball's at the 31-yard line. Delaware 1st and 10, moving against McNeese. On a nice, it's all set up by a nice run back by Pat Williams. Here's a pump fake by Langen. He gets rid of the ball. Going down the field. It's intended for Batts. He can't get it. It's broken up by Bronson down at the 1-yard line. Ball was well thrown, but Bronson made a great job from his free safety position to come over and break it up.
It doesn't happen to Batts very often either. That's a nicely thrown pass, and Batts is right there, but the guy comes right over and circles right in front and knocks it away.
But again, in addition to Bronson coming over, the man-to-man coverage out there was excellent. Batts is out wide right, 2nd down 10. The ball at the McNeese 31-yard line. Langen on for Leo Hamlet. Here's a handoff inside to Coleman. He stumbles through to the 30, down to the 28-yard line for a pickup of about 3. Norm Coleman gets 3 for the Hens with 8:12 to play, and we're down to a 3rd down situation. 3rd down and 7.
See, the Hens are moving the ball both in the air and on the ground, particularly on the ground. But so far in the half, 4 turnovers, 2 fumbles, 2 interceptions have just killed them.
Having a hard time hanging on to the football. 8:12. Why is the clock stopped, I wonder? The clock is not moving.